Have you ever realized that, well, coworkers tell you things they don't tell their actual friends? Do you ever leave work emotionally exhausted from conversations you didn't even start? Have you ever wondered when, exactly, you became the unpaid therapist of the office? If any of this sounds familiar, you're really not imagining it. There's a name for what's happening to you, and honestly, it's costing you more than you've noticed. What we're going to look at today are 7 signs you've slipped, kind of quietly, into a role nobody officially gave you. Some of you have been in this role for years. Some of you signed up last Tuesday, almost without noticing. Either way, the role has a real psychological cost. And the workplace, honestly, almost never names it. So we'll move through the signs slowly. Take a breath with each one. Just notice which ones land. Number 1. People tell you things they don't tell their actual friends. It starts small. Someone walks past your desk, lingers just a little longer than usual, and asks if you have a minute. You always have a minute. Over time, the pattern compounds quietly. Coworkers share things with you they wouldn't share with their college roommate, or, honestly, their cousin. You become the one who knows, the one who hears. And without quite meaning to, you've started keeping the team's emotional ledger. Sociologist Arlie Hochschild named this back in 1983. She called it emotional labor, basically the unpaid work of managing other people's feelings on behalf of the job. What it teaches the people around you over time is pretty simple. You absorb. You don't return things. So they just keep coming. It's not flattering. It's actually an assignment you didn't sign for. Number 2. You finish work tired from conversations you didn't start. You sit down in the morning, well rested, kind of energized. By 11, you're inexplicably drained. You haven't really done much of the work yet. What you've done is listen. To a vent in the kitchen. To a DM that opened with, "Do you have a sec?" To a meeting where someone needed reassurance more than direction. Truthfully, there's a name for what's happening to your body. Researchers Elaine Hatfield and John Cacioppo found that emotions transmit between people through unconscious facial mimicry and vocal synchronization. Their 1994 book on emotional contagion documented it as a 2-step automatic process. You actually catch the other person's mood before your conscious mind has registered the conversation. You weren't choosing to absorb. Your nervous system was just doing what it's wired to do. So when you feel oddly heavy at the end of the day, that's honestly not weakness. That's biology you didn't opt out of. Number 3. Your body knows when a vent is coming before you do. You see the message preview. You see the way they walk toward your cubicle. You feel something tighten in your chest, your shoulders, your jaw. Maybe just a kind of small dread you can't quite name. There's actually research on this. From 2008, a study by Jennifer Bird Craven and her colleagues found that what psychologists call co-rumination, basically the repeated detailed discussion of problems without seeking solutions, measurably increases cortisol, the stress hormone, in a controlled lab setting, even when the participants reported feeling closer to their friend afterward. Honestly, read that again. Your body was paying for the conversation, while your social brain was scoring it as connection. That's the trap, really. The closeness feels real. The cost is real, too. It's not in your head, it's actually in your bloodstream. Number 4. You can't remember the last time someone asked how you were. Not the polite version, the real one. The one where they actually slowed down, looked at you, and just waited for the answer. You've been the person who slows down for everyone else. You held the questions, the follow-ups, the gentle, "Are you sure you're okay?" you offered when somebody paused a beat too long. And somewhere along the way, the flow just became one-directional. Chances are, if you tried to vent to a coworker tomorrow, you'd feel kind of weirdly guilty about it. You'd hedge. You'd shrink it. You'd say, "It's really not a big deal," before they even responded. That's not modesty. That's a role you've absorbed so completely, you've kind of forgotten the role was optional in the first place. Number 5. You replay other people's problems on your drive home. The workday ends, you close the laptop, you get in the car or onto the bus, or you just walk the 10 steps from your home office to your kitchen. And there it is. Their problem. Still running. You're rehearsing what you should have said. Honestly, you can't stop turning over how the situation might land tomorrow. Somehow, you're carrying their nervous system home with you. Researchers studying workplace co-rumination, including a 2011 study by Haggard, Robert, and Rose in the Journal of Business and Psychology, found that this kind of spillover hits women especially hard when their supervisor is also difficult. The friendship deepens. The depression and anxiety scores climb in parallel. Truthfully, that's the trade-off no one really tells you about when you become the team's emotional infrastructure. You don't lose the closeness, you just pay for it after hours, in the second job you never actually applied for. Number 6. You've started feeling numb where you used to feel concern. This one is quiet. It doesn't really announce itself. Someone walks up with a new problem, and you just notice something flat where the empathy used to be. You still listen, still nod, still say the right things. But internally, something has changed. There's a kind of distance now. Just a muffled feeling like you're watching the conversation from across the room. In trauma research, psychologist Charles Figley actually named this back in 1995. He called it compassion fatigue, and the symptoms he documented look clinically a lot like post-traumatic stress. Emotional numbing, psychological detachment, the brain quietly protecting itself. The people most at risk weren't the ones who didn't care. They were honestly the ones who cared the most, the ones who showed up, the ones who kind of quietly became the place other people unloaded into. If you've noticed yourself going numb at work, that's not coldness. That's your nervous system finally trying to protect you. Number 7. You can't tell where their problems end and yours begin. Maybe this is the loudest sign, even though it shows up quietly. Their stress wakes you up at 3 a.m. The conflict they're in this week is somehow ruining your weekend. The performance review that isn't yours is sitting on your chest. You're a person carrying multiple lives in a body really designed for one. And the strangest part is you'll honestly defend it. You'll say, "But I want to help," or "They really needed someone," or "No one else was going to listen." All of that may kind of be true. None of it changes the math. Most of us were never taught that being needed is not actually the same as being valued. They are two different things. So what do these 7 signs really add up to? A good listener helps when asked, sets the conversation down, and just goes home. The office therapist is on call. The good listener has a choice. The office therapist has a role. The difference isn't really kindness, it's structure. It's not that you're too sensitive. It's that the role was quietly designed to keep using you. If any of this sounds familiar, you're not too kind. You're not too soft. You are not too much. Most of us were never given the language for emotional labor at work. It just lived in our calendars without a name, kind of folded into the job description. So this week, just try one thing. Notice the next time someone walks toward you with that look. Notice if you said yes before they even asked. Notice if your shoulders dropped, or honestly, rose when they left. Tell them which sign hit hardest. Just naming the role tends to change the texture of the next conversation. And your week starts to feel quieter, lighter, and finally, a little more yours.